Hello and welcome back. I am Gollie Chollie with an update. Last time I made a video, I pointed out 5 things I wanted to talk about on how I've been deconstructing or changing. And one of those was Donald Trump. So Trump, what happened? Let's get into it. Trump in 2016. Why did I vote for Trump in 2016? Well, actually, I voted for Dr. Ben Carson in the primary. He was more ethical and principled person, and he was highly intelligent too. Plus, Donald Trump had some respect for him too as well. Trump put him on into his administration, and when they were debating on the stage, they didn't go after each other hard. It seems like he had a degree of respect for him. But Trump did hit hard in his speech and pointed out the hypocrisy and corruption of Democrats. He was good at that. He pointed out Hillary Clinton's server scandal. There was the Clinton Foundation pay-to-play. There were, I didn't put this down, but Bill Clinton's sexual scandals in the past. Nothing like Trump. I mean, Trump has them too, but Trump did a good job of articulating and pointing out bills. So let's go there. Trump may not be so bad. Back in 1986, he paid the mortgage of a lady named Annabelle Hill. Her husband committed suicide, and they were about to lose their family farm. Trump, out of his own pocket, paid over $70,000 for her to keep her farm. And there were other rumors too that Trump paid off mortgages for people. There's a rumor that guy stopped and helped him fix the flat tire on his car, and Trump paid off that guy's mortgage. But those ones are urban legends. The one about Annabelle Hill is verifiable. The Apprentice. Don't knock out the importance of that TV show. We knew Trump from his TV show. He was convinced us that he was a smart business leader from it. And it showed, maybe not accurately, that he knew how to get and use talented people. So that went to his credit. Promises that Trump made in 2016 to build a wall on the southern border. If you can see the picture to the right, people just kicking over the fences and coming on in. I understand desperate people need help, and I want to help them, and I do contribute to help them. But you can't let people just kick in the door of your house. I think there's got to be something said about that. He did give tax cuts to the middle class. We benefited from some of those, so I'm grateful to that. He did appoint conservative judges that would interpret the Constitution as written and not what they want to be, and not what they want to be in it. That was important. I agree with what the Supreme Court did under Trump's administration back in his first term. Drain the swamp. Here is where I'm disappointed. Trump said he would drive out some of the corruption in government, and he did not do that. In fact, he created his own swamp. The people that are that are around him today are just a bunch of sycophants, and it drives me crazy. And I can't stand that. Rethink U.S. alliances. I support NATO. It's kept us safe since the end of World War II, but we're in so much debt, and it's affecting us here at home, that we have to ask our European allies to step up their defense spending. And that's been happening, probably out of fear that we might attack them, or not. They may not be able to depend on us in a fight, but more so today than in the past. But I'm glad that they're increasing their spending on their own defense. I support the move of the U.S. Embassy from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem. I believe in Israel's right to exist, and I believe in Israel having a capital in Jerusalem. Overall, I was satisfied with Trump's first term. He kept most of his promises, or he at least attempted to do so in 2016. So no problems there. The 2020 election. I can't believe that the election was stolen when all is said and done. Investigations, audits, and recounts show there was no significant corruption of the election. So Trump, grow up. It wasn't stolen. It wasn't rigged. You're a guy who doesn't lose a lot, so swallow it and take your pill and move on. However, I think it looks untrustworthy to have an election where a bunch of mail-in ballots can be dumped into the results after after the in-person election is done. I don't like that at all. It has an untrustworthy look to it. So my magic wand, if I could, mail-in ballots would be tallied, say, 3 days before in-person voting, and election day would be a national holiday for people to go and vote. The fact that it's not an election holiday, to me suppresses the working people from being able to vote, and I don't think that's right. The January 6 riots. The election result questions were not unresolved at this time. I admire Vice President for certifying the election results despite pressure from Trump. I do believe he did the right thing even at that time. I've admired Vice President Pence's integrity for doing that. I hated to see the so-called patriots damaging the Verity Capitol and People's House of this country. To me, it was really wrong. It looked weird, too. I could empathize, though, with people there because the optics of the election didn't look right. I could understand why people were there protesting this election, but there's a difference between protest and riot. And you don't, if you're going in and trying to kick in offices or punch police officers, you're doing wrong. And Trump smokescreened his responsibility by blaming Pelosi for not requesting the National Guard. Pelosi has no control over the National Guard. The mayor of Washington, the Capitol Police, they got the National Guard in. Also, other representatives and Vice President Mike Pence also requested them. Eventually, they came on their request, but Trump had nothing to do with it. It's interesting now how Trump uses the National Guard to protect, like, the reflecting pool or other things in the country. So funny how he uses the National Guard but didn't use it back then. Well, my 10 minutes is going to be almost up, so I'm going to stop this video now, and I'll have a part 2 next week for you. But enjoy, and I hope you'll comment and subscribe, and let me know what you think. Bye-bye.